Sorry about that, folks. Any technical difficulties I could have, I had, and and we're finally here. I will try to keep up with the comments. Uh, last time I had somebody in my ear, or Dave Gatton, not just somebody, was in my ear while I was scrolling to read the comments to me, and they were pretty small, but there's that. Okay, so I need to get going. I'm apologizing for being late. The laptop is a dinosaur and it was poking. This is what we did last live stream, and now we're going to be working on this one, and I need to get the camera set up because that would have been too convenient to already have it done. I believe that should work. It is Woody and Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. Hopefully y'all are seeing this, because the way everything else technically hasn't been working. Okay. Every pop-up I can have is coming on. Is really upsetting me here. Okay, we're gonna get going here. I got to make sure everything's working here. This is only my second stream using live stream, but here we go. If anybody's commenting, I don't see it yet, so forgive me if I haven't responded. I'm not ignoring you. And I'm going to try to talk over the saw until the new headphones get in here today. I'm checking my attention before I get going. We are using a Hegner 22-inch saw. Sounds good. As with any people or animals or anything that has a face, I always start with the eyes. So we're going to get going there. If y'all don't mind, can somebody try to comment both on Facebook and YouTube? That way I can see if the comments are coming through, or maybe I screwed up a setting. I think the more I use this platform, StreamYard, to Facebook and YouTube at the same time, the better I'll get at it, hopefully. It shows I have 9 viewers. I'm hoping that if you're commenting that I'm not missing it. I'm going to click on comments and see. Bear with me. I'm still learning the technology here. Well, if y'all comment and I don't respond, that's why, because I'm seeing the comments when I posted it on Facebook, but I'm not seeing real-time comments if there are any. Anyway, hopefully that'll improve. Appreciate y'all watching. We're going to get going. I'm going to start with the eyes. One cut down, 50,000 more to go. Okay, good. I see a YouTube comment. Looking forward to watching this class. Thank you, Tim. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. It's okay to ask beginner questions because not everybody's been doing this for a while. So I'm glad one comment came through that lets me know that the comment section is working. Using a number 5 Flying Dutchman flat-ended spiral, 22-inch Hegner scroll saw. Good morning, Randy, and thank you so much, Randy, for your order, man. That really helped me out. I appreciate that. Tim, you go to woodenvisions.com for patterns and go to the new, you click on shop, then you go down to, I believe, I don't remember, I haven't been to my own site in a while, but just click on the shop button and you should be able to find patterns. And if you go into newest, you'll be able to find the latest patterns. I appreciate you ordering. And Randy, man, I can't thank you enough. You got me out of a bind. Okay, I'm going to try to acknowledge everybody, but good morning and thank you for watching, or whatever time it is where you are. And by the way, the waving arm is not actually moving, it's just the feed rate of the webcam. I never have problems with the laptop until this morning. I started to go to the stream with 5 minutes to spare, and it was poking. I said, man, don't do this to me. I don't want to look unprepared. Anyway, now every now and then you'll see me go off a line, but a lot of times, number one, it's because I'm human, which, you know, a lot of people do. Number two, it's because sometimes I'm correcting a line that I drew sloppily, or it can be a design change, because I'm not sure how I feel about the shading on this eye here, but I may stick with the shape, just alter it slightly. It just looks a little off to me, but probably because I don't have the source photo in front of me. And after I get done with his face, I'll likely move on over to Buzz Lightyear, and then we'll go back to Woody just back and forth. Now I got to be careful to stay on the line because these are round going around the eyes, and it's a single cut. It's not a thick cut. It's a, you know, just one line. But I also noticed that this one I didn't draw it completely around, and I don't know if it's that way in the design or not. So I don't know. Maybe I just follow the line for the sake of following the line. If you hear me reading a comment that you don't see, it's because I'm streaming to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. If you want to watch on YouTube, go by Charles Deering, scroll on there, but you should be able to find it just by typing in Charles Deering. Even though this is a spiral blade, because that's a single cut and I don't want to screw it up, I'm turning it around to just give myself a better visual of it. Got to find that sweet spot. Appreciate y'all taking time out of your day to watch. It's in the mid-30s right now here in Texas, and for those of you that have below zero temperatures, might be saying cry me a river, but you know, I'm just not a fan of cold weather. But it's supposed to be 51 by noon, so that's a little more comfort. All right. If you've watched me before, you know I gotta take my swig of Dr. Pepper every now and then. That's how I roll. But anybody that's a beginner, don't be afraid to ask questions. Nobody in this community is going to make you feel stupid, and if they do, block them. we all started sometime, and I think to a degree, some of us are still learning, you know, regardless of how long you've been doing it. And some things aren't universal. Some things work better for others, like blade choice, blade size, blade style. Okay, another. I intentionally went off the line on that eye because I didn't want to get too close to the pupil. I probably could have gotten away with it, but didn't want to take any chances. By the way, I used to only live stream on Facebook, and that would show me who was coming in to watch. But the setup I'm using now is called StreamYard. It only shows me the comments, not who is watching, so please don't feel like I'm ignoring you. Tim Carp asks what type of wood and thickness. The thickness is 1/4 inch, and the wood is Baltic birch plywood. Thank you for the question, sir. Okay. And I keep saying it's okay to be a beginner. You're welcome, Tim. I keep saying it's okay to be a beginner, but not every viewer watching this is going to be even a scroll sawyer. They might just be, you know, for lack of a better word, an everyday person that doesn't scroll saw and might have questions. So any questions you have, feel free. Believe it or not, the hardest part of this whole project for me is going to be the name tag here on Buzz Lightyear's suit, because very small letters, and I'm hoping I can do it without butchering it. If not, if you're doing that and it breaks, just cut out the rectangle that the name is in. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's right here. But if you break a few, you know, it's unfortunate, but it won't ruin the whole picture unless the head falls off, kind of thing. But yeah, which may happen to me because I'm not used to cutting that small. But I will use it. Right now I'm using a number 5 spiral. I'll use a number 3 spiral for those letters. It's the smallest size I have that I'm aware of that I can get to work on this saw. Any vibration you're hearing is the wooden floor in my shop and the fact that I have a plexiglass table or Lexan over the table of the scroll saw, and there might be a slight gap between those. So that's what you're hearing. The saw itself is not vibrating. Randy Bosheen says, up north when it's cold, we warm Dr. Pepper in a coffee pot and add lemon slices. Kept a 30-cup pot in the house when I hauled it, or in the warehouse. Why do you not use a foot pedal? I don't have a good reason as to why I don't use a foot pedal. It's because I don't want to say I fear change, but that's the comical answer. Wow, Steve Good, thank you. Wow, got a $20 donation from Steve Good. That is outstanding. Thank you so much, Stephen. I'm thrilled that you're watching. I don't use a foot pedal only because I fear change, so to speak. But it'd be a good thing to use because although most scroll saws, when you hit the power switch, if you're quick enough, you usually have time to jump up here. And a lot of power switches on saws are right up here on the arm. Mine is underneath on a Hegner. The Seiko has it on top. The Excalibur, I believe the King does. But as far as why I don't use one, probably just not using one. I have one, but I prefer the kind you click on and click off. A lot of people prefer the dead man switch, which means that's a slang term for it. It means you have your foot on it to run it and let it off when you want it off. But I've never given a quick answer, and if you've seen any of my live streams, you know that. Steve Good says, hi, Charles, Merry Christmas. Keep up the good work, and thank you so much, Steve Good. For those that don't know, Steve Good has a blog where he got hundreds and hundreds of free patterns, scroll saw patterns. Scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com, or just Google Steve Good. It's just like it sounds. Good fella. Glad I finally got to meet him a while back. And when I said something about Steve Good donating on YouTube, I think only, I don't know about Facebook, there's something called Super Chat. It allows people to donate in real time. And I can't thank you enough for that, Steve. That was very sweet. I appreciate that. Not mandatory by any means. It's just those people that like to give back every now and then, and it's deeply appreciated, but not mandatory. I'll occasionally, while I'm cutting, I'll flip this around so people can see it right side up. But when I cut, I like to have the cut as I say as close to me as possible, although that blade is, well, let me get the stupid thing through the pilot hole and I'll explain what I mean. Although the blade is right here the whole time, regardless of how I spin this, I like to have the cut itself that I'm working on near me, rather, or at least at a workable angle, because if I'm doing it like this, my hands are way down at the bottom of the piece this way, and the edge of the wood is right here. So I tend to cut that way. That's why, even though it's a spiral blade, you'll see me turn the piece every now and then just to do it comfortable for me. as of a couple days ago, I'm now up to 1,785 products at woodenvisions.com. Finished pieces aren't up there yet, but someday they will be. That's on me. Primary use of woodenvisions.com is scroll saw patterns, and I do have some instructional scroll saw pattern how-to videos for download. Shout out to Steve Nealon of Hard Neil Media. He does my website, and I definitely couldn't do it without him. I'll be glad when it warms up in here. You'll let me know if there's any issues with positioning of the camera or things like that, because I'm not able to monitor every aspect the whole time, but I will do my best. And because I'm addicted to Marlboro and Dr. Pepper, I do partake every couple cuts. I'll take a swig of Dr. Pepper, and that's probably why I'm not a skinny mini. But it's not whiskey, so we're going to be good. Jeff Robinson says, Charles got to go, but we'll be back if you are still here in about an hour. It's my Bible study time. I appreciate you, Jeff. Appreciate you watching as well, and I will most likely still be here. Now, if y'all haven't used a spiral blade, one benefit to it is if your line gets a little bit wavy, you can use the edge of, well, I say the edge of the spiral, the peak all the way around, but you can use it to nip away, almost like a little mini sander. You can use it to smooth out a line. Just wanted to sharpen the corner there. I'm going to try to do this a little more while it's facing you right side up, so it's a little more visually appealing. If you have any questions regarding flat blades, I cannot help you because I've only used one once, and that was on a YouTube show on my channel, and that was hilarious. Any questions you have, if I don't know the answer, I'll try to find them, but I will do my darndest to answer. Randy Bosheen says woodenvisions.com is easy to use, and I like the immediate downloads. Thank you very much again, Randy. Way back when I first started having a website, I didn't know how to do all that. I still don't know how to do a majority of it, but people had to wait on me to actually see the order, and I'd have to email it to them. So once I got in with Hard Neil Media, Steve Nealon, that changed, and instant downloads a good thing. my website has never been hacked. But my web guy told me that mine, and he does all kinds of websites and been doing a whole bunch for a while now. He said mine and one other are get the most attempts at being hacked out of all the websites he does. But no, they don't get hacked. They're just people trying. The background of this will be getting cut out as well, but I'm going to do that last. As I was saying about the sanding, anytime you see me going back and forth after I've already cut something, it's me trying to get a little bitty bump or a wave out of the cut line that I've already done. I already cut that one. If you ever have one of those days that you have trouble finding the pilot hole, if you're what they call a bottom feeder, which means feeding from underneath to put the blade through the pilot hole, what you can do is what I'm about to do here shortly after this cut. You can just get a Sharpie and put a dot on the pilot hole on the back side, and it'll easier to find with your eyes. And when you find it with your eyes, you can find it quicker with your hands. The Seiko is the only saw I use that I top feed from. And I don't know why, but it works. Another thing to make note of, if you ever, I mean, this is not set in stone, but if you ever go off the line, don't just jerk right back to the line, because you'll have a big crook in the cut. Just gradually come back to it, and hopefully it won't alter the shape too much, depending on what you're working on. Oh yeah, I said I was going to turn this over and bump the camera. So I'm going to turn this over and put the Sharpie on some of these pilot holes so I don't have to spend so long trying to find them. One drawback to using spiral blades is what they call fuzzies. I don't know how well you can see that, but real fuzzy. I don't want to call it splintering, but it's hard to explain. But yeah, that's the drawback to using spirals. But the benefit is you can cut larger pieces because the blade cuts in any direction. Let me do some of these pilot holes with this Sharpie. And no, I don't count how many cuts I got, because that would take way too long. Especially if you're working on a detailed piece, if you have a whole bunch of cuts in there, it's not as hard to find pilot holes because you know you're going to go through one eventually, but if you are looking for a specific one, stuff like this helps. And I don't always have to do this, but just some days I have trouble locating the pilot hole from underneath. I'm not going to do every one of them or we'll be here all day. We could probably stop there as he does one more. Bruno Oliveira says, hello guys, hi Charles, how are you? For this type of art, do you only use spiral blades? I'm starting and learning a lot from you. Hug, Brazil. Thank you very much, Bruno. I do only use spiral blades. I tried to use flat blades one time and it was horrendous. But it's one of the videos on my channel. I believe it's called Using a Straight Blade for the First Time, but it's very laughable. And I appreciate you being here. Now, putting that Sharpie on the pilot holes on the back obviously doesn't help. You obviously don't see that from there, but if you're peeking under trying to guide the blade to the hole, especially with low light, those Sharpie marks make it easier to find that pilot hole. But to give you an idea of what I mean by how I find the pilot holes when I'm not looking, I will have a blade like this in my hand. I'll be feeling with my fingertip up here to find that pilot hole. And as soon as I find it, I just slide the blade to the top of my fingertip, and that's usually how I find the pilot hole pretty quick. And you're welcome, Bruno. And since it's early in the day, if I don't finish this on this live stream, I'll continue it later today. Just watch on YouTube and Facebook on my personal profile. On Facebook, I go by the Charles Deering, all one word. On YouTube, I go by Charles Deering Scroll, but if you just type in Charles Deering, you should be able to find me. But make sure if you go to YouTube that you click on the bell and you'll get notified of any time something has been scheduled or is going live or just a project video and upload. Scrolling is fun, but it's for me it's more fun when people are watching like we're doing now. And that's why I started doing these live streams almost daily. Every now and then I have an off day, but I'm going to continue trying to do this. And I want to say this piece is 19 5/8 wide by 16 5/8 tall. I probably could have added a little more background to it to make it a traditional frame size, like 18 by 24, whatever the case may be, but I didn't because I'm stubborn. Now, another key to using a spiral blade is let the blade do the cutting. I mean, people say spirals are more aggressive, and I guess by definition they are, but that blade cannot cut. I mean, if your hands are sitting still, that blade's not going to just jump all over the place. So allow yourself to learn the spiral blade, and when you get used to it, it'll become second nature like it did with me. But uh, that blade will not cut into that wood any faster than you are feeding that wood into the blade. So make note of that. Bruno says he still wants to try to make the Iron Maiden picture. I have some Iron Maiden themed scroll saw patterns, is what he's saying, and I also have a video on YouTube with it. It's the Killers album cover, and thank you again, Bruno. And I know not everybody watching is a beginner, but I'm trying to, try to cover the whole area. People that aren't beginners don't always need the advice, but you might be a beginner to a spiral. Nothing wrong with being a beginner. We all were or are. Almost done with this face. We'll do a little more like his ear and his hair and his chin there, and then we'll move on over to Buzz Lightyear's face, and then we'll just jump back and forth. Now, your questions and comments don't have to be related to what I'm doing. I'll pretty much answer anything if it's family appropriate. By the way, I do custom patterns from photos or pictures, whatever the case may be. I start at $50 per pattern, photo to pattern, but it can be higher depending on detail. And every now and then I'll get somebody saying, "Can you simplify it?" But that's not really how I roll. I mean, it's not impossible to do, but I've always been detail oriented, so please take that in mind. But you get the best results from a clearly focused photo, close up, and large. Digital works best because you can zoom in and out on it and not lose it. But if you just scan in a hard copy photo, which I know some of those exist because people pass on, you're still limited by the clarity of the photo that was originally there. So I can work from pretty much anything. I start at 50, but I may be raising that probably around the first of the year. Randy Bosheen says, "I'm a flat blader. Think I'll try spirals, quicker cuts, less turning, and less blade breakage on turning the project." Randy, in my opinion, I think spirals would break more often because they flex in every direction. A straight blade doesn't flex in that many. So, and a spiral will break easier, but it will cut in any direction. So it's like one of those win-win, lose-lose. So And by nature, spirals aren't necessarily more fragile or more brittle than flat blades. They just flex in every direction. And as with any metal, the more you flex it, the more it'll break. But it is what it is. I don't know how many are watching from each platform, but we do have Facebook people watching as well as YouTube, and I appreciate all of y'all. Even if y'all aren't watching in real time, that's fine. Most people are working. I don't know what time it is in Brazil. I know the UK is 6 hours ahead of me. So I believe it's 4 p.m. in the UK right now. So hopefully a couple of y'all are able to catch this. But I do keep weird hours every now and then. I might just do a live stream at 2, 3 a.m. at U.S. Central Time. But one thing I love about the StreamYard platform that I'm using right now is, number one, being able to stream on both platforms, but also it will let you schedule a live feed ahead of time, and it lets people on Facebook and YouTube know that, hey, it's so such and such a time, Charlie will be doing a live feed. Randy Bosheen says the old FD blade, FD meaning Flying Dutchman, distributor lives 5 miles from me. He sold out to Wooden Teddy Bear and still has some blades. Yeah, you're thinking of Mike Morlock. Mike Morlock passed away a while back. I think his wife might be still dealing with him. I don't know for sure, but you can order Flying Dutchman blades either through mikesworkshop.com or the Wooden Teddy Bear. I get mine from Wooden Teddy Bear. I also have some patterns in their catalog, so that's why I sort of choose to work with them. Hello, Tracy. Can't find this. There we go. Appreciate everybody watching. I don't know how much I'll get done in this feed, but I promise you, barring something out of my control, I will be back later to continue. I will try to do 2 live streams a day, just depending on what I'm working on and this and that. Dr. Pepper. Tracy says this was one of my favorite movies, but I bet this is going to be a brilliant when you're finished. Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate that. Yeah, here lately, I'm on my live feeds. I'm trying to do themes that are popular, but every now and then I may just do one to show one of my designs being cut. which would make for a longer live feed or more live feeds in general, but trying to appeal to different audiences, I reckon. We're getting there. At least with Woody. There were a lot of shadows on the source photo that I had to eliminate, otherwise it would have been even more detailed and almost confusing. But some of the details I chose were to suggest shape. Most of the shadows were on Buzz Lightyear here, but after I get done with this ear, I'll move on over to Buzz Lightyear's face. I hope I'm answering this question the way it was intended, but somebody wrote to me on Facebook Messenger asking how to film. And I don't know if they meant live streams or YouTube videos or just filming in general. I mean, the video quality depends on what you're using, but if you don't have a bunch of high-tech equipment, you can use a cell phone, which is what I started doing my live feeds on. You can use a regular camera, and good lighting helps. Not mandatory, but you're likely, because people like good quality videos as well. You don't have to be like a outstanding director producer thing. Just people want to see what you're doing, basically. But as far as how to film, it's pretty much just through Facebook and YouTube. You can do the live streams, and I don't really know how to get more detailed than that, but I'll do my best to help anybody that's trying to start up. Plus, the person that asked me that, I don't know if they were asking about YouTube or Facebook or what, so I need to get that clarified. Apparently, I missed some pilot holes. Where are you? It's got to be nearby. That's embarrassing. So close. Oh, it was next to a cut, so I couldn't feel it. Okay. Holy crap, Charlie's human. Hello, Tim Carp again. He says, great work, great patterns. We'll catch the rest later. Have to get to some wood and start. Thanks, Charles. Thank you very much, Tim. I appreciate you watching, and good luck. All right, we'll move on over to Buzz Lightyear space, and then I'll just jump back and forth after that's done. I'll always start with the eyes. You don't have to, it's just how I do it. Hello, Jesse Ramirez. Appreciate you watching. Now, part of the problem, I was telling you about how small the letters are on the Lightyear name tag on Buzz. I used a 1/16 inch drill bit at each intersection of a line to cut out the letters. I could have used a smaller drill bit, which you can get from Carl Taylor. His website escapes me right this second, but contact Carl Taylor, KarlTaylor. He sells micro drill bits. I just don't know right where mine are at this point, so I just stick with a 1/16. Sorry about that, Carl. I can't remember. I know you changed the name of it a couple times, or I want to say Tayco, Tayco, but or Scroll Song Video. I believe that might be what he goes by on YouTube. Don't quote me on that because I've slept since then. It's fun having crappy eyesight. By the way, anybody keeping up with my swollen eye, swollen face situation, yesterday's appointment didn't yield anything other than they're going to schedule an MRI. And as soon as they get the results from there, there'll be a plan of action. First, they're going to figure out if the swelling in my eye is a mass or just what they call an edema, basically just swelling. They know that. But after they treat it, they want to find out what's causing it so that it doesn't keep happening. But it's been this way for right around a year. This upper eyelid gets a little bit close to this pupil, so I may go just shy of the line this way to compensate, or I might get cocky and just do the line anyways. If it breaks, it's just the iris, so it won't fly out. It just might cut into the iris a little bit. But it'll still look like Buzz Lightyear. We're good. I don't know why y'all were worried. Randy Bosheen says, do you think spirals would work equally as well on thicker hardwoods? I primarily cut 3/8 to 3/4. I resaw my stock. Very cool. Yes, spirals will work on thicker material. You may want to consult wherever you buy your blades from for them to tell you which blades work better with what woods. I don't know that, but I know I've always used spirals. But now Pegasus blades are sharper than Flying Dutchman, but Flying Dutchman is also a good blade, but Flying Dutchman also has flat-ended spirals, which works best for my saw because of how narrow the clamp is. But some people don't like those sharper blades because they, and I am referring to spiral blades on this. Most popular Pegasus that I've seen, Pegasus blade is a modified geometry. That is not a spiral blade. I can feel the pilot hole, but I can't get the stupid blade to go through it. Guess I just got to crick my neck and do it. There we go. Love my Dr. Pepper. Probably love it too much. But I will be glad when it gets warmer outside. Midnight Joker says, do you straighten the ends of your spiral blades before you use them? Only on the kind that are already flat. Some people will use a hammer but to just smash them into flat, but I won't do that because to me that weakens the blade. I mean, it'll just put a more weak crimp in your blade. So yes, every now and then I have to untwist the ends, mainly for this saw, but most saws are okay with the twisted end ones. But on this particular saw, the clamp has such a narrow opening that you have to untwist if you have spiraled up blades. But that's why I get the Flying Dutchman flat-ended. Now sometimes they don't line up on top and bottom as far as which direction it's flat, so you may have to twist it slightly, but hopefully that answers your question. But there's worse problems to have. It's just You're welcome, sir. All right. There's no such thing as too many questions. Anything y'all want to know, I'll answer if I know the answer. And if any of my answers don't satisfy you, check with Steve Good. ScrollSawWorkshop.blogspot.com. Daniel Davis asked, have you ever used Olson spiral blades? No, sir, I have not. I'm not opposed to it. I just never have tried them. I started out with Flying Dutchman and stayed real dedicated to them for a while. Tried Pegasus, liked Pegasus, but there again, because I like the flat ended, I went back to Flying Dutchman. For me, that was a relatively quick answer. Usually I drag it on out. And one thing I want to point out, I don't know how well it'll show up since I'm not zoomed in real close. Another thing I do with spiral blades, because they flex in any direction, when I get close to the end of a cut like I'm about to do here, you'll notice me stop moving the piece and let the flex come out of that blade, because that'll finish the cut for you. But that just comes with practice and watching and seeing. But you may notice, even though it's not zoomed in close, that if you watch my hands, well, you can't really see my hands. If you watch the piece, you'll notice that even though I'm moving slow, I will stop the piece and let the flex come out of that blade to finish that line. Now I just stopped the piece and letting the flex come out. Sometimes it's more obvious than others. Daniel Jones wants to know what's the most difficult project I've worked on. It's kind of a toss-up, Daniel, because some of them are majorly detailed and some of them are large. So sometimes a large one, just due to their weight and size, can make it difficult. And that would be Metallica, which I started a live stream the other day, but it's just too heavy and cumbersome to fiddle with right now. But I have a portrait of a lion roaring as one of my most detailed patterns. That takes a while. It really just matters on your patience. So as far as difficulty, once you learn how to, for the most part, keep a blade on the line, the rest of it is merely patience, because all you are doing is cutting a series of shapes. So I guess the difficult aspect would be the patience. I'm not good at judging weight, but the metallic I was working on is a little over around 3 feet 4 inches wide by just about 2 feet tall, and it is kind of bulky and heavy, so it really gave me a headache messing with it. It kind of took the fun out of it, and that's on me, but I like cutting big. Again, if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to throw them out there, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. I will respond if I see it. And if you're interested, I have this and 1,784 products on woodenvisions.com. I usually don't like to do this during a live feed, but some things just have to be done. Give me about 30 seconds because nature is calling, and I can't do that sitting here at the saw. At least not without a lot of rumors. Let me turn this for you to look at something while I'm doing it. Okay, be right back. Alrighty, sorry about the lack of professionalism on that. I am back. Kind of like one of those long trips your parents would say, well, why didn't you go before we left? And, well, sometimes you don't have to go. I'm pretty sure every one of us watching can relate to that kind of story. Now, unlike my past live streams, when I was doing just Facebook, I was able to see who came in and out of the watch party, so to speak. But unless you comment, I won't be able to see that you're in there, and I apologize for that. But we have Tommy Mater says, I know the feeling. Hello, Tommy. But if you're watching on Facebook and ever want to try on YouTube or see other project videos or other live streams I've done, go by Charles Deering Scroll on YouTube, or you can just look up Charles Deering. Should be able to find it. Hit the bell for notifications of when I have a project video come out or live streams or anything like that. And I'd appreciate it. if you're so inclined, YouTube has something called Super Chat. It allows you to donate in real time if you so choose. By no means mandatory. And that only came to light when I saw Steve Good donate earlier, and that kind of melted me. But that's only for people that want to. There's not mandatory or implied or hinted or anything like that. Just letting you know. Randy Bosheen says, patience is definitely key. I'm cutting 3/4 inch oak of a bear pattern to use as a sliding door security stop using Pegas number 3 and number 5. A lot of detail and slow going. I can imagine, Randy. And with any scroll saw pattern you get, if you don't like how a certain thing is drawn, redraw it, or in other words, you're not stuck with anything you get. You can alter patterns. You can't sell patterns that you alter, but you can sell finished pieces. Randy Bosheen says the bear pattern was designed as a wall hanging from 1/4 inch stock. Nice. By the way, if I talk while the saw is on, it may be a little harder to hear me. But later today, I should be getting a set of headphones that have a built-in mic on it, and it should help you be able to hear me over the saw, hopefully. And a big thank you to Dave Gatton for that. Supposed to be delivered between 1 and 3 or 3:30 or my time central in the U.S. And if you weren't here earlier, if I don't finish this during this live stream, I will probably do another live stream later today, and I will do a pre-scheduling. That way you'll see when it's coming. That way, if you want to cancel dinner or wedding plans, anything, to be here, by golly, I appreciate it. I'm kidding, but I do appreciate when y'all watch and participate. Makes it more fun for me when y'all are here, and it actually pushes me to go longer than I would if nobody was here. I did get one order yesterday, but I should be able to fill that pretty quick, so that doesn't have to be on a live feed. Plus, it might be a surprise for somebody, and I don't want to ruin the surprise by doing a live feed on it. Dave Gatton rocking with $10. Thank you so much, Dave. And again, folks, it's not mandatory. I only pointed it out because I had forgotten that was a feature on YouTube, and some people like to give back in that way, and that's why I brought it up. But thank you to Steve Good and Dave Gatton. I appreciate y'all a lot. Dave Gatton says, "Shut up and take my money." I like that mindset. But I prefer your friendship over everything else, buddy. I appreciate it. Daniel Davis says, the only issue I have at the moment is I need ink for my printer. Man, I've been there, Daniel. That's why printers are so cheap, because they make all their money with the ink. I have a laser printer, but it's much more expensive, but it lasts longer. That's funny. I appreciate you, Dave. Okay, I'm going to do this one in waves. I'm going to cut out the corner here and then position the piece where I'm comfortable with it, because the straight line where the teeth are, I like to cut this way when I'm working on a straight line. Even though it's a spiral blade, I still have my little quirks about positioning of the piece. And I see a piece of debris I got to get out of there. There we go. Dave Gatton says, scroll, gotta run, scroll. Dang it. Gotta run, Charles. Scroll on, my friend. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you watching. What's funny about those super chats is I don't have a clue where that money goes. I don't know if it's part of a quote unquote ad revenue on YouTube or if it goes to PayPal. I don't know where the heck it goes, to be honest with you. But it's definitely appreciated. All right. And the reason why you feel it, and this is if you haven't scrolled before, the reason why you hear that chatter as I'm lifting up the piece is because on scroll saw blades, the teeth are pointing down. So when you go to lift up, it's catching on those little teeth. And that's regardless of kind of scroll saw blade. I mean, there are some kinds that have reverse teeth, but not all of them are reversed. But it's more so with a spiral that it catches like that. Again, there's no stupid questions. I'll answer pretty much anything. You don't have to stay on topic. And you don't have to comment or throw a question. I just, inviting you to. Randy Bosheen says, I hear my shop and scroll saw calling me. Don't have the internet hooked up in the shop yet. Thanks again for another great live feed. Very informative. We'll catch you later. I appreciate you, Randy, and thank you again for the purchase you made yesterday. That meant the world to me. Have fun and scroll on, baby. I have a little area partitioned off in my shop that I use for an office, but I've just recently gotten this laptop. It pokes at times, but this laptop makes the live feeds where I can watch the comments, and I have a webcam up on a little crane right here. Before I was using my phone, it was harder to interact without getting up and looking at the back of the phone to see who was commenting and that. So this makes it more fun, most definitely. I do have the window on my shop open now. It's gotten a little bit warmer outside, but if you can hear any noises, there's a hen laying eggs because they make a peculiar sound when they're laying eggs, like that was a good impression, but if you're not hearing roosters, you'll hear that when I stop talking, of course. And now the hen is quiet. Have about 20 hens and roosters out there. Okay. Still a little bit nippy out there, but it's getting more bearable. But I'm wearing a light jacket too. Actually, I think it's a thick shirt, but I use it as a jacket. I'll never leave Texas, but I wish it was mid to high 70s all year round. I'd be in heaven. Although Texas is heaven. Tommy Mater says, got a run, brother? Mama has me doing house chores today. We'll donate on PayPal. I learn things from you every feed. Scroll on. Thank you so much, Tommy. I appreciate you watching, and God bless you, brother. My God, Dr. Pepper. It's mandatory. And no, I'm not sponsored by Dr. Pepper, although I wish I was, but Daniel Davis says, will you be doing any more Star Wars projects in the future? Yeah, I like Star Wars. Oh, you wrote to me on Facebook, didn't you? I never got back to you. I probably will, knowing me. I have some that aren't even on the site. I might need to get back up on the site. But yeah, your message is one of those messages I see and I forget to respond to, and I'm so sorry because usually I'm multitasking when I see those. And some people get notifications on their phone when I write, and I don't want to wake anybody up. I do that with my daughter too. She'll message me and think I'm ignoring her because she saw that I've seen it but didn't respond. It's because I don't want to wake her up. I like Star Wars too. I just watched all the beginning ones, Return of the Jedi, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, stuff like that. The newer ones don't appeal to me as much, but yeah, I went binging and that got me in a Star Wars mood. If it matters to you, Daniel, I have some Yoda designs on the site right now. I don't know which Star Wars ones I have on there and which ones I don't. But the Yoda designs are relatively recent. And I don't know if you can hear me over the saw or not. I hope you can. If not, later I'll be hopefully with a better audio setup that I can, excuse me, can talk over the saw and not be hard to hear. because the humidity here in Texas, every now and then pieces like this will be ever so slightly cupped, and that's why I have to be careful when I'm turning the saw on and turning it off, because if it's at an angle like that, it could alter the cut. So yeah. But once it's glued to a backer, it's not cupped anymore. And Daniel Davis says, I heard you. Said, I guess I overlooked him. I'll check it out. Check the newest patterns folder, Daniel. You find the Yoda ones I was talking about. And I'll check later and check and see if there's any more Star Wars ones I need to get on the site. Woodenvisions.com. Jeff Robinson, good to see you. He says, I could have watched Toy Story on Disney Plus this morning, but I chose to watch Charles cut a Toy Story pattern on a 55-inch television set. Sweet. I appreciate you, Jeff. Other than the background, what I'm about to do is probably the biggest cut on this piece, and that would be the bubble over Buzz Lightyear's head. But the nerve-wracking part of this is it's a dome, so it has a consistent curve. So we don't want to go off the line, at least not into the area we want to keep. If you're going to go off the line, go off in the waist area. Midnight Joker, sorry, the roosters are trying to make an appearance. I have used a foot switch in the past, but it got put away when I was cleaning, moving stuff. I just haven't gotten it back out, but I probably should. Same to you, Rooster. He's trying to get in here, isn't he? I use a stool that has an adjustable height on it, and to use a foot switch, unless I do some kind of little setup. Shut up, Rooster. Setup on the saw, then I would have to actually come on the edge of the, or get on the edge of the stool in order to reach the floor to use a foot switch. I mean, there's worse problems to have, but I may not rush to do it because I've gone so long without it. But see, I never give a quick answer. That Rooster wants to say a few things. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. I'm not opposed to foot switches at all. I don't use them that often. I have one, just not hooked up to the saw right now. I imagine y'all can hear that, Rooster. Well, I have a few, so I don't know which ones are doing it. One of the ones we have sounds like it's crowing underwater. That's kind of funny. Kind of gurgled. I've had some people ask me to do another live feed with the chickens. I haven't done a live feed non-scrolling in a long time, but I don't think it'll appeal to a whole lot of folks unless they just want to see what's going on. It won't be right now. Daniel Jones wants to know what kind of chickens have. Rhode Island Reds, Turkins, which is the slang term for Turkins, is naked neck. We have Leghorns. They're white. The Rhode Island Reds are red or rusty red. The Turkins are all different colors. Some are black, some are white. No, the white ones died. Some are gray. What else? Cuckoo Moran. It's one of my favorite breeds as far as how they look, besides the Rhode Island Red. And I don't know if I covered them all or not. Oh, Buff Orpingtons. Buff Orpington is kind of a orangish yellow color. Jeff Robinson says, I love your new sound effects and your new sponsor, Jimmy Dean. I don't get the second part of it. Oh, because of the breakfast stuff, I guess. I wish I had a sponsor. I had one, but didn't work out by my choice. All right, I'm going to do the inside of here around his head first, and then we'll go to that consistent curve. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the cut and go finish this off and then do the dome. A little bit of the plaid lines from the shirt are there, so I won't just be cutting across. I'll cut across first and then come back and do the other lines. Daniel Davis wants to know, where do I get my blades? I get them from woodenteddybear.com. I also have some patterns in their catalog, but I only get a percentage of that, but it's another source. Woodenvisions.com, you can get them direct, and some of the ones you can't get in catalogs because they're only on my site. I think I'm about to sneeze again. Now that I want to show you something right quick. That's why I'm taking it off the blade. But when you're doing something like a grid pattern, that's something I had to contend with when I was designing the pattern. Dang it, the cord for my light is in the way. I couldn't just connect all the lines because you'd have a bunch of squares falling out. So I had to start and stop in weird places, and you just put a pilot hole where those lines intersect. But if you were to connect all those squares, your piece would fall apart. So most of these are a suggestion of a grid. And I got to do that dome now, and I'm a little nervous because I got to stay right on that line. When I use the word nervous, I don't know what other word to use. It's just a little more precarious than the average cut when you got to do a straight line or a consistent curved line. But if you start to wave just slow down and use the spiral, if you're using a spiral, to shave any areas you might get off a little bit. And I am going to procrastinate starting this because once I go, I got to make sure my hands are in the right spot. And if you see me stop, it's so I can reposition my hands, because I got to be physically comfortable to continue that curved line without any crooks in it, or it'll stick out like a sore thumb. Daniel Davis says, "Got to run, buddy. I'll try to catch the rest of this live video." Appreciate it. Appreciate you watching, Daniel. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to throw them out there. I will respond if I see them. Okay. I've got to get my hand set just right so I don't have to reset any more than necessary. But if I feel like I need to reset, I'll go into the waist area a little bit so I don't mess up the line. And I'm pushing ever so slightly so when that blade starts up, it'll start into the waist area and not make a notch in the area that we're keeping. I purposely went into the waist area on that because I could tell I had to reposition. And I am expecting an important phone call, so if it comes in, I do have to answer, and I apologize for that. I'm professionalism. It's to schedule the MRI. And I'm checking my phone now to make sure I have the notification sounds on, because if they call, I have to answer, or I won't get the MRI very quick. Okay, here we go. I have some very small waves in the dome here, but I can fix that off camera later. It just involves using the blade to shimmy it, or maybe I should do it now just to do it and get it done. That's all that took. Let me flip it around so y'all can see it, and I'll get going on more cuts. Hopefully y'all can see majority of the cut portions. I'm wondering if I should go ahead and try to get those letters done. Now, again, if I mess up those letters, I'll just make that a rectangle name patch and cut it completely out. But that's on me trying to get cocky with the fine details. There's a number 5 in here right now, so let me put in a number 3. It's a slightly smaller blade. And I really hope I don't screw it up. Now the pilot holes I used were 1/16 inch drill bit, and it's too big of a bit for this blade, but it's not detrimental. It's just the pilot holes might be bigger around than the letters are going to be, so I may have to compensate with that, but I can do that with a smaller blade. And when you go to a different size blade, at least on this saw, for me, I have to reset the tension. So I'm going to loosen the tension so I don't break it, because the 3 is smaller than a number 5. But you're still listening for that universal ping. That's where we want it. And yes, I stuck my tongue out at you, because I'm a professional. Okay, here we go. It's not impossible to do this. I should have used smaller drill bits. So going back and forth will be just to make the letters the same thickness throughout the letter. That's probably the most nerve-wracking part of this, next to the doing that consistent dome shape. Can you tell I'm stalling? I don't want to mess up here. It's okay if I do, because, you know, there's worse problems to have. It's not like an eyeball fell out or something. It's just a name tag on his suit. I can just cut it out if I screw it up. Here we go. Get that tension a little tighter because it's vibrating. Don't want to have a wobbly blade on something like this. And go slow, because remember, that blade can't cut anywhere you don't steer it. Let the blade do the cutting. Well, I did the L and it didn't break, so we're getting there. So once I get done with this, it won't be as scary of a project. Midnight Joker says, thanks, Charles. I'm finding this live video much more useful than pre-recorded videos where those important little details rarely get mentioned. Thank you, Midnight Joker. That's kind of why I prefer doing the live feeds, and I love being able to interact with people. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. Jeff Robinson says, do you ever use a magnifying glass when cutting patterns? I have one, Jeff, right here. Sorry, let me move the camera for a second. But using the magnification messes with my eyes, and I've been told you can get different inserts with different levels of magnification, but the one I have on there is too powerful. It freaks my eyes out. So I mean, I know that's what magnification is for, but it's too extreme of a magnification, and it messes with my bearings, so to speak. I don't know how else to word that. But yeah, I'm getting to the point where I need one. I mainly use it for the light. Now, as you can see in the reflection, I have a shop light above me there, but I use this one for a more focused light. But I try to keep it out of the, see how it brightens up just a little bit more? I do that when needed. Yeah, I think we'll be able to do these letters without screwing anything up, although this G is pretty compact. If I don't break this G, then the rest of them should come out okay. I should have used a smaller drill bit when I was drilling the pilot holes just for these letters, because it's going to alter them a little bit. Man, that G is so brittle. I was afraid that was going to break off, but it didn't yet. Okay, be careful getting it out of there. All right, now we got to do the H. We're getting there. The name tag says Lightyear, in case anybody's wondering. I don't know how well it shows up on screen. I should have gotten a heater in here, but oh well. Now, they do make spiral blades smaller than number 3. I use number 3 and number 5 primarily, and this is not anything to do with the saw, but I can't dial in the tension correctly on those smaller blades. That's why I don't generally go any smaller than number 3. And that's on me. That's user issues or operator issues. And you'll notice when I turn it off, I'm holding it down so it doesn't vibrate into the blade and screw up the letter. That's only because there's a slight cupping to the wood. Appreciate y'all taking your time out of the day to watch, even if it's not live. And I hope to catch all the comments and questions as they come in. I will try to live stream at least once a day, hopefully on average maybe twice, depending on if I have more than one project or one isn't finished on a single feed. And I will continue, as long as my laptop holds out, I'll continue on both platforms, Facebook and YouTube. If you're just joining and would prefer to see this on YouTube, go by Charles Deering Scroll on YouTube, or you could just look up Charles Deering as spelled is where you're looking. Should be there. Hit the bell and it'll notify you when I have a project video or a live feed starting or scheduled. And I hope to see you there. Feel free to thumbs up and share, and all that other fancy stuff. My Facebook profile is set up for the public so that you don't have to be a friend of mine on Facebook to see the notification, I don't think. The only sloppiness in these letters is where the pilot hole's bigger than the cut. So I should have used a smaller drill bit. I know I keep saying that, but again, Carl Taylor sells those. I wish I could remember his YouTube channel. I want to say Scroll Saw Video is the name of his channel, and he goes by Carl Taylor on Facebook, KarlTaylor. And I'm 99% positive he also has a little chuck for those mini drill bits. I'd almost take my life on it. We're almost done with this name tag, then the scary part's done. I wasn't scared. Midnight Joker says my shop cabinet doors aren't hanging themselves. I hear you, man. When I get interested in something, it's hard to motivate myself to do something else. But without doing live feeds, I'd be jumping all over the place. I don't stick with scrolling that long. On average 4 hours at the longest, but I did do a live stream on YouTube a long while ago. I just under 8 hours doing Harley Quinn, and that's on my YouTube channel. Just save your pennies, and one of these days you'll be able to get one of those self-hanging cabinet doors. I'm still waiting to find a self-loading and unloading dishwasher. But some people don't even have a dishwasher, so. Now the border of this name tag is 2 different cuts, because if I connected that rectangle, the name tag would fall out. So it just comes just short of the corner on both sides. But it also comes dangerously close to those letters, so I may purposely go off the line a little bit to make it a little wider, like I did at the bottom. All right, so we survived the name tag. One more cut there. Jeff Robinson says, I'm glad you're back. I appreciate that, Jeff. Good to be back. Kept letting life get in the way. And you are one of my most loyal viewers, and I appreciate that. It doesn't go unnoticed. Loyal meaning you show up to almost every live feed, and that's awesome. By the way, myself, a guy named Jamie Page, Dale Kirkwood, and Julia Martinez will be doing a show called Team Scroll Saw. I don't know whose channel it would be hosted on, but we're going to share it to all of our YouTube channels, so you won't miss it regardless of which one of us you're subscribed to. But feel free to subscribe to all four of us. But when that's coming out, I will give you more details. We still need to iron out the details because one of us is in Baltimore, I'm in Gatesville, Texas, and the other two are in the UK. Jeff Robinson says, my wife says that her loader does not work very good. And in parentheses, he says, me, I hear you. My motivator doesn't work real well. There's so many things I need to do, but I'm choosing to do this instead of that, and I suck. All kinds of notifications coming in on my phone, but none of them are voicemail that I'm aware of. Let me make sure. All right. We're good. Midnight Joker says, tell her dishwasher loaders work better with a little... I can't say that on public, in public because of what it implies, but I'm not upset with you, Midnight Joker. I just can't repeat you. Okay. I should probably do the grid lines on his shirt with the smaller blade too, but it's not mandatory. Since the majority of the cuts are number 5, can be done with a number 5, I'm going to go ahead and just put the number 5 back in so I'm not swapping back and forth. You'll recheck the tension after that because we're changing blade sizes. Oh. And there we be. My precious daughter is watching. Casey Deering watching on Facebook says, love you, Dad. I love you too, darling. That is my daughter. 21 years old. Just yesterday she was watching Bernie on my lap. I don't know what happened. That's my girl. She has to deal with all my anxiety quirks too, and I don't envy her for that because it affects my being a decent father. Anxiety and depression, and unfortunately she's inherited it, and I won't go into any more detail to respect her privacy, and I probably shouldn't have even said that, but make mistakes. Love you too, darling. Daughter lives around 2 hours away, and her and I were talking a while back about going into scrolling together, but we just can't get together often enough, and that breaks my heart. Yeah, so let me get back to cutting. I'm a great dad. I'll send you payment later for that. Appreciate you. if you believe I can send you payment later, yeah. But thank you, darling. I told y'all I start out with the faces, but after that, there's no rhyme or reason as to where I go to cut next. I jump around. I do see a couple other little bitty cuts on the little stitches on his hat that I should probably do with the smaller blade because I was paying attention. I can do those later. I can do the big, well, yeah, I can just make them bigger. Screw it. We'll just start way over here. They'll be slightly bigger than intended, but I don't want to keep changing blades because I'm stubborn. And if you're just joining, if I don't, I probably won't finish this on this live feed, which I very well could. Depends on motivation and whether or not I get that important phone call regarding the MRI. But either way, barring something out of my control, I will continue this on another live feed later today. Today being American Central Time. I don't know if there's a Central Universal or what, but but I will most likely average 2 live feeds a day if I can sling it and get enough stuff drawn out. But I am getting pretty low on wood, and I don't yet have a way to replenish it. I usually get 42-foot by 4-foot sheets of birch plywood from West Balco, where he works at Ace Hardware in Alvin or Pearl. I don't remember what it is. He's from Alvin, but I use, and that costs $500 at a time. And I know I could get less, but I like to bulk up when I order something. But there again, got to wait till the money's there. And the reason why I don't go just anywhere to buy wood is because there's places you can buy scroll saw worthy wood online, but not in the sizes that I generally cut. I generally cut pretty large, so it's harder for me to find good source of wood. And locally, all they have is Luan, which is like what you see on the backs of cabinets or drawer bottoms. That's a little too red and fibrous and crappy to use for stuff like this. So that's why I get it from Wes, and Wes has no problem with long trips, so I get free delivery. I probably shouldn't have said that, but Wes is a good feller. He's done me a few good favors. Jeff Robinson says, so your daughter lives up by Becca Miller and me. No, she actually lives, unless she's moved, she lives in very far North Austin or Pflugerville. I believe she moved in with somebody, but I don't know what that address is. the Austin area. In other words, it's the opposite direction, Jeff. Maybe she can correct me if she's still watching. Jeff says, I haven't been motivated to get back on the saw lately because of the cold weather, but I need to do something for the DFW scroller party this Saturday. By the way, folks, DFW is Dallas-Fort Worth, and if you're near the area, get with Jeff Robinson on that. But yeah, it does get harder to get motivated when it's extremely cold or extremely hot. I'm mainly doing this just to give something for folks to watch and to keep myself busy. Yeah, Wesley's near the Houston area, and I probably shouldn't have said publicly, so that might have gotten me in trouble about him delivering. And to be clear, I've gotten free delivery, but I don't get free wood, so I don't want to start any rumors there. I'm not dangerously low right now, but being that I generally double stack at least, get a little low. Close to emergency, but not emergency yet. I save a lot more if I'd stop doing billboard size pieces, but I am what I am. And rest assured, Jeff, that if Wes was watching, he would comment. I think I bumped the camera when I stood up. Still got the camera in a relatively decent. Let me see if I can get that slightly more in the middle. There we go. There's Wesley. Hello, everybody. See, when Wesley does live streams, or even just videos, that's how he starts it. I don't have a catchphrase, and I think I say howdy, folks, but I don't memorize it. I just do it by nature. I know, Wes, I'm not done yet, so kiss it. Tommy Mater says, I'm done with my wife's chores. Awesome. Good to see you back. And don't get your hopes up. They tend to come up with more. Well, I'm faster today. I didn't think I was faster because it doesn't look like I've done a whole lot, but we're a little over 2 hours now. Again, I probably won't finish this on this live feed, but I will continue on another live feed later today, because my back is messing with me a little bit, so I may leave here relatively soon. But I shall be back. And if y'all didn't see the last live feed, when I worked on Lightning McQueen, well, I don't know how well that shows up, but that took 4 hours, 23 minutes, babbling included. It's about 20 inches wide. It is available on woodenvisions.com as well as this and a bunch of other ones. Midnight Joker says, I better finish those workshop doors and tidy up. It's getting on here in the UK. I will catch you later. Thanks. Appreciate you watching, Midnight Joker. Thank you very much. Jeff Robinson says, I get my Russia birch from Plywood of Fort Worth. My hardwood comes from Barney Robinson Lumber in Fort Worth. Awesome. Mine comes from Wesley Balco when the money allows. You know what? I think I am going to go ahead and end this live feed, but I promise y'all I'll be back later today unless I fall over dead, because that's, kind of out of my control. But I promise you I'll be back. I appreciate everybody watching. Please feel free to comment, question, whether it's during the live feed or afterwards. If I see it, I will respond to it. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, please go to YouTube and subscribe. Charles Deering should bring my page up. Please hit the bell for notifications to be notified. Since I don't right this second, I don't know right what time I'll be back, but I will schedule it, and you'll know ahead of time on both Facebook and YouTube. But hit that bell and you'll be notified. And we appreciate you watching. No questions or stupid questions, except for will you marry me, dear? Oh, that's a joke. That's a joke. Anyway, I appreciate y'all watching, and I will be back, and I look forward to hanging out with y'all again.